Excuse me. Uh, Sorry, I'm laughing at the very thought that I have to make this video because it's funny to watch one of your former players get traded to another team and then to listen to the media of that other team talk about that player that you so desperately wanted to be rid of, like, shower him with praise and a loud hosanna, and you're like, I mean, at least your management was smart enough to bottom barrel the Browns out of it. I mean, we already knew that the Browns were not going to get a first round pick or anything close to that. We knew they weren't going to get anything higher than a third for Baker Mayfield simply because of Baker Mayfield's mouth and his personality and his attitude and his demeanor and the things that are being talked about him around the NFL as far as in that 32 team bubble that we're not privy to. I mean, come on. You had a bidding war. 13 teams were on the phone with the Texans the second that Deshaun Watson was legally on the market. When Baker Mayfield was on the market, I mean, the Seahawks maybe had an interest. Maybe he should go to Carolina. Even Detroit was in the mix, as a long shot, possibly the Saints, maybe the Bucks, Tom Brady retiring. But none of those teams called except for the Seahawks and then, of course, the Panthers later on. But we as Browns fans fully expected that the Browns would either wind up cutting him or trying to force him to come and play with Deshaun Watson being suspended, giving him a chance to go out there and prove himself worthy of a big contract since he is on his 5th-year option. He's on his 5th-year option. So do understand that at the end of the year, your team, the Panthers, have to make a decision. Either they're going to move forward, maybe give Baker Mayfield a 3-year contract, see what Matt Corral could do. Maybe Matt Corral could sit behind him and learn. Because, right now your organization doesn't know Baker Mayfield like we do. So you really think that Matt Corral could learn from Baker Mayfield on how to be an NFL quarterback? That's what your organization thinks there, Carolina. Yeah, okay. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But you're going to find out. Hopefully, you'll find out. Hopefully, your new GM will be smart enough to figure out, like, wow, that, yeah, I see why the Browns were quick to give up on Baker Mayfield. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not a Baker Mayfield hater. I'm not a hater. When Baker Mayfield was drafted #1 overall, I was very excited. Look, see, I represent. I did 2 years, okay, in broadcasting, minor in photojournalism. But at any rate, I remember when he planted the flag. I remember when he beat the Buckeyes, and I was like, wow, that kid is good. How you going to beat Ohio State in Ohio State on a nationally televised game? How you going to do that? And then plant the flag. Ooh, my God, that takes big testes to do something like that. So when he was drafted #1 overall, I was like, oh, okay, cool. But to dispel or kill one of the talking points that uh, Skip Bayless loves to put out there about him taking the 0-16 Browns to 8-7-1 and just missing the playoffs. I want you to understand something right now. That was not because of Baker Mayfield. Sure, he had a hand in that. But it wasn't because of him. He wasn't the sole reason. He wasn't the catalyst of the reason. Sure, he played well for a rookie, but that's because what happened was, I hate to run down Brown's history. I'll try to keep it brief. The GM, the original GM that the Browns hired, Sashi Brown, he came in. He said, "Hey, look, you," because he's a business guy. He's a Harvard graduate. He came in and said, "Hey, look, you need to strip this team down to the studs. Cut your losses, gain as much draft and financial capital as you can acquire for at least going to take you it's a 5-year plan. The first 2 years you're going to suck. The third year you're going to show marketed improvement because those first 2 years, the first year you're going to tank your ass off. You're going to get rid of aging, oft injured players. You're going to trade players who have peaked out but ain't worth a damn. You're going to get rid of all those people. You're just going to have bodies out there on the field the first year. You're going to lose games. The Browns went 1-15. The next year we got Myles Garrett. And then we went 0-16. And then Sashi Brown, the GM who came up with this idea, he wound up getting fired because he fell on the sword. He smartly nixed the trade with the Bengals, our second and third, for AJ McCarron for quarterback. Thing is that Hugh Jackson was never brought in to win games. He was just brought in to be the scapegoat. Hugh Jackson sucked as a head coach. Just ask the people from Oakland. He sucked. They went 8-8 just based off of talent and luck. He was a decent offensive coordinator in Cincinnati, but they won more so because of offense. Because he tried to run that same offense with practically zero talent. You got a running game. Use it, dummy. You got quarterbacks who will be lucky to be in the league come year 4. You're trying to run your Cincinnati wide open offense with these guys? Cody Kessler? Really? I mean, who are these people? He was brought in to help facilitate the losses because they knew he was garbage. And when Baker Mayfield was there and when he was put in the lineup, they were still garbage. They did get the Jets game, but then again, the NFL is scripted. But as usual, the Steelers game told the tale. When they lost to the Steelers and they fired both Jackson and Todd Haley and turned the team over to the defensive coordinator, Greg Williams, who had been in the league for damn near 30 years and had been a head coach up in Buffalo. They were mediocre teams, 8-8, 7-9, 9-7. But they were solid teams. The Browns with Nick Chubb as a rookie, they ran the football. This is how we knew Nick Chubb could actually play outside of the Raiders game. But after that, we knew Nick Chubb was a star. He was something special because of Greg Williams. It was the running game. Baker Mayfield was a play action pass quarterback. That's why we went 8-7-1. We had talent on that team. We had a solid foundation. Then, of course, came John Dorsey, who, of course, brought in Odell Beckham Jr. and traded Jabril Peppers, which was dumb. And then hired Freddie Bubba Kitchens, just a football Jesse. Didn't know crap. And he catered to Baker Mayfield's whims. That 4 and 5 wide receiver set, trying like Baker Mayfield is Dan Marino. Like what you wound up doing in that 6-10 season that had so much playoff promise after going 8-7-1 and was one pass away from beating the Ravens and going to the playoffs, falling to 6-10. Look, what you found out was that Baker Mayfield cannot carry a team on his back. That's what we wound up finding out. You can't put Baker in a 4 and 5 wide. You're lucky to get him in a 3 wide, but when he is relied upon to throw the football from an obvious passing set, it's a hit or miss. It's a 50-50 chance that he's going to make the right read. And the messed up part is that the reads are so easy that it really shouldn't be a 50-50 chance. It should be a 70-30 and an 80-20 because the reads are so wide open. This is the beauty. I want you to understand something here, Panthers fans, especially you, Panthers Unlimited. You really need to watch Kurt Warner's videos because Kurt Warner has a YouTube channel. Okay, well, Kurt Warner breaks down quarterbacks, and he has broken down a lot of Baker Mayfield tape. He has shown the things that Baker Mayfield can do well, which we all know, which is the play action pass. You've got to get Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt going to where they're averaging 5 to 7 yards a clip. And then, he can do his play action pass, and then somebody's wide open, tight end, maybe wide receiver. Because I want you to understand something here. Odell Beckham Jr. was not at fault 90% of the time while he was here when Baker threw passes his way. Baker was trying to force the passes. He was trying to force the plays, and he was throwing bad balls. That's why Odell Beckham Jr.'s father made the video. I've never seen the video, but I didn't have to watch the video because I was watching the games. I'm like, who the hell was Baker throwing to? How the hell was he supposed to catch that? Why did he throw that high? He threw that too short. Damn, that was behind him. It was almost picked off. Matter of fact, the one that did get picked off, why would the one that the OBJ got hurt on? 2020? That was double coverage. That was the stupidest throw I've ever seen. And it cost OBJ his season. I'm not an OBJ fan. Not by a long shot. I mean, his claim to fame is a one-handed catch against the Cowboys on the nationally televised game. Outside of that, he is not a Jerry Rice. He's not a Herman Moore. I mean, he's just matter of fact, you know what he is to me? He's a fast version of Webster Slaughter. That's all he is to me. He's a fast version of Webster Slaughter. Because if you ask me, Webster Slaughter appeared to run very slow, especially after the run after catch. Oh my God, if he wasn't catching the bomb running a straight line, you can forget it. It was over. Webster Slaughter was not going to pull a Sterling Sharp, like make a little button hook catch, fake you out, and then take off and go. You had to get him on a straight line, on some type of slant and go. Other than that, no, he was not the outrun you type of guy. He was not a shake you at the line of scrimmage and go type of guy. At any rate, now that pressure of him trying to force the ball to OBJ, when OBJ went down, and this is another talking point. Okay. Well, let me close out this other one first. When you put the game on Baker Mayfield's shoulders, he will collapse under the pressure because, I mean, physically, he's very gifted. He can make all the throws, but mentally, he's deficient. Like I said, it's a 50-50 chance on whether he's going to make the right read or not. I mean, during this 11-game stretch another talking point concerning Baker Mayfield, this 11-game stretch, that's when he started playing within the offense and started making the right reads instead of trying to play hero ball and make it about himself and trying to understand the offense, that's when he finally just, okay, let me just stop making it about me and just listen to the coach and make the right reads. That's when he was coachable. And when he was coachable, he was balling. The Browns were putting teams away at halftime. Go back and watch that 11-game stretch and see how many times the Browns, don't look at the final score. I mean, look at all the W's in that 11-game stretch, but go examine the halftime scores. It was like 31-10, 38-13, 27-3. I mean, we were killing teams in the first half because he was playing within the offense. And then, of course, then we get trestle ball because really that's all it was. Like, we bomb you to death. We kill you in the first half. In the second half, we just run Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt right down your throats and run out the clock. Sure, you score all the points you want to, but as long as we win the game, we don't care. You won't score enough to beat us. That playoff game, I mean, hell, the Steelers had 6 turnovers, and Roethlisberger could barely throw the ball over 20, 25 yards. And the Steelers almost came back and beat us. I think they scored like 36 points. I mean, come on. If it wasn't for those 6 turnovers, the Browns would not have won that game. They wouldn't have won that game. Those 6 turnovers, all 6 of them were needed. Because I think we didn't even beat them by 20. I think we beat them by like 13 or 17 or something like that, or 8, something like that, because of turnovers. Turnovers did the Steelers in that playoff game. It's just that Baker was still playing within the offense at that time. But the defense really won that game. Here's something else you guys need to know. Because Kurt Warner, his very first video that he broke down about Baker Mayfield, pretty much told the story what a lot of us as Browns fans already knew. I mean, you see Brownie DF. Broke down something we already knew, especially concerning this year. First and foremost, that first year when Baker Mayfield, when he came to the league, he was trying to impress somebody. Okay, Hugh Jackson got fired, so he took it out on Cincinnati. He really concentrated and studied the playbook and the game plan against Cincinnati. He does that against Cincinnati because he likes to stick it to Hugh Jackson. Okay, we'll give him that. It doesn't matter. Plus, it also helps that we have the talent on defense to shut down Cincinnati's offense. I mean, those guys got some horses at their skill positions, from quarterback to running back, wide receiver. They've got some horses. That all let you know just how good the Browns defense really is. Because we swept the AFC champions. Okay, we swept them and we made them look freaking foolish. Nobody made them look more ridiculous in a loss than we did. And that's with a stubborn and stupid Baker Mayfield. At any rate, that first year he was trying to impress. He was trying to prove that he belonged. But that second year, when he had the head coach that he called himself being buddies with, because when they fired Hugh Jackson and put on Greg Williams, they pretty much named Freddie Kitchens the offensive coordinator, but he wasn't. It was offensive coordinator by committee. It's just that him and Baker Mayfield had the best relationship between those offensive coaches. He was the one who talked to him. So when they made Freddie Kitchens the head coach, and this dude, I mean, you're talking about the running backs coach at the start of that last year. He was now the head coach. Of course, they went 6-10. He catered to Baker's every whim, and Baker just fell short. He even showed up to camp fat. He was overweight. You could see it in his padding. That was something that was really talked about during training camp in the first month of the season, was how much weight he had gained and how he just refused to work out. And then that third year was when Kevin Stefanski came in, and he wanted to prove himself to Kevin Stefanski. And once he started learning the offense and stopped thinking that he could do whatever he wanted to do, he played well within the offense, and the offense was successful. Now, as far as this last year, I mean, people, we as Browns fans, we already know the politics going into last season. And he was trying to play for a contract because everybody was, you had so many players, especially quarterbacks, that were playing for contracts. These were their fourth years. You know, his draft class contracts were on the table. Lamar Jackson, like I said, has he signed his contract yet? You know, contract year. Josh Allen got his contract. Okay, got his contract. Your guy in San Diego, he got his contract. The second the good guys were able to sign new contracts, oh, they signed their contracts. They got their money. So Baker Mayfield was playing for a contract. And it was like he wanted like his little $40 million a year. And the Browns were thinking, well, prove you're worth it. So he went out there this past season trying to prove his worth. This is why he played with so many injuries that really he should have sat his ass down. He should have been on the bench. He should have went on injured reserve or something. He should have been out. But he was playing with those injuries, trying to prove that he was worth the money, trying to prove that he was tough and gritty and all of this stuff. But the thing is that he wasn't playing within the offense. He was still, because do understand that 11 game stretch, well, that eight, yeah, we went 8-3. That little 11 game stretch, he was still making mistakes. It's just that he made more good plays than bad. But come last year, 21, he was, wow, I would say he was more 60-40 in bad decisions than good. Because last year was really a Super Bowl team. I mean, we were a 3rd and 14 away from beating Kansas City in Kansas City. That was a Super Bowl team, and he just wrecked it because he refused to sit down. I mean, I get it. The backup quarterback, good Lord, he was no better. That was like me out there trying to throw out routes and whatnot. Case Keenum's arm was just terrible. Right, but at least he played within the structure of the offense because he knew the offense. He played in it in Minnesota. He wouldn't try to play hero ball. Like, hey, if it's not there, he either gonna throw it away or he's gonna try to run it to make a play. He's not gonna force passes. He's not gonna turn the ball over because that's what kills your offense. Just kills your whole team when you turn the ball over. Hey, rather you punt than turn the ball over. Give your defense a chance. Yeah, but he just refused to be coached. This is the thing. Once Baker Mayfield gets comfortable, he refuses to be coached. He thinks he knows it all. I mean, look, do you understand? You're talking about a guy who we had a big game against the Packers. We needed that win against the Packers. Aaron Rodgers was coming to town. Baker Mayfield, instead of spending time studying the game plan, was spending about 10 hours a day playing Fortnite. There's proof, like screenshotted proof of some kid tweeting, hey, I just played 10 hours of Fortnite with Baker Mayfield and he added me back as a friend. in Baker Mayfield like the post. And it's like, and Baker Mayfield turned around and threw 4 interceptions in that game. We lost by a field goal. A game we should have ran off. Man, let me tell you something. A lot of those games we lost, we should have killed those teams. And a lot of the games that we won, we should have killed those teams. But because Baker Mayfield holds on to the ball too long, because he makes bad reads, he can't read the defense correctly, and he tries to jam it in there. He tries to jam it in. This is funny because they were showing Panther highlights where, they caught themselves showing how Baker Mayfield put the ball right on the receiver's hands. But the thing of it was is that it was bad reads because the guys were double covered. They were double covered, and it's like, why would you throw it in a window that tight? Sure, like they say, if the receiver get his hands on the ball, he should catch it. But damn, if you set him up to take a big ass lick, he, man, that ain't Rice and Taylor you out there playing with. That ain't Randy Moss and Terrell Owens that you out there playing with. Okay, these ain't guys with the best of hands. You out there trying to get people killed, and we noticed that. Like, man, like, wow, that receiver got laid out. There are many times he set up OBJ to get murdered, or where he threw the ball in the double coverage and it got picked. I mean, good Lord, there was so many. If you look at his interceptions last year, it was so many boneheaded freaking plays. He will cost you games. Look, you guys might make the playoffs this year if you rely on Christian McCaffrey more so than Baker Mayfield. If you do a lot of play action passes,
wonder what that means.
it means you guys got to play conservatively on offense. You have to play conservatively on offense, or else Baker Mayfield is going to kill you. He is not a drop back to throw 30 passes a game type of quarterback. If you're down by 14, you're fucked. It's over. It's over. You can forget it. Chalk that game up as an L. Because look, even within our structured offense, we're down by 4, we're down by 5, we're down by 6, we're down by 7. Baker Mayfield, we need you on this drive to drive down the field to tie the game or get us the win. Man, the only time he did that was against the Bengals. And that's because Donovan Peoples-Jones made a hell of a catch in the end zone with 11 seconds to play. Because Donovan Peoples-Jones can make those tough catches. He'll make the clutch catch. That's why he's starting this year. Because he can make plays. He's proven that he can make plays. But no, Baker Mayfield is not the quarterback for that. You guys were going to lose those games. I know. I see you bulked up your wide receiving core. I see that, but that's really not passing. Is not going to be the strength of your team. Christian McCaffrey needs to stay the strength of your team. That's why the Cowboys are trash, because they suddenly, when they hired McCarthy, the first thing he did was went away from Ezekiel Elliott to the point where people are saying that Ezekiel Elliott has run out of gas and doesn't have it anymore. When that's not true, it's just that within the scheme of the offense, they don't rely on him. He's just a body. That's why the Cowboys are mediocre, because they're too busy trying to be a passing team with a quarterback that's not a passer like that. That's not his strength. That's what y'all have in Baker Mayfield. Quarterback with passing is not his strength. He's got a strong arm. He's got the arm talent, but between the years, he doesn't have it all. He doesn't have it all. You're gonna find out all that bravado and everything. Look, I thought it was great. I was like, wow, like this is the type of quarterback that Cleveland needs. But as far as like when it comes to actual maturity and being able to read a defense and be coachable and whatnot, that he doesn't have it. He lacks it. There's a reason why there was a bidding war for a guy who was accused of sexual assault and not a bidding war for what 4 years ago was the number one draft pick in the NFL. Yet it took this long, and he had to eat $3 million for somebody to pick him up, which would be you guys. And you guys really think you have something. Look, again, he might play well. You guys, look, I took the Panthers as a gambling man. I took the Panthers to win this game. It's Panthers 3.5. Took the Panthers to win this game. Simply because of the Browns' quarterback, center, and defensive tackle positions. And plus, we don't win our openers. Even the 2 years, oh, I'm sorry, the 3 years that Baker Mayfield was our starting quarterback when we didn't win the opener. Like, you know, yeah, I don't expect the Browns to win the opener. We have no idea what Jacoby Brissett can do. So yeah, I took the Panthers. But as far as the rest of the season, you guys might make the playoffs, but you're going to start noticing the things that got him up out of Cleveland. You're going to see the locker room immaturity and the press conference immaturity. You're talking about the guy who, in a game that we won against Denver, started off the game full mustache, beard. Halftime, he shaved it to some concoction, and then by the end of the game, he shaved it to another concoction. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? What in the mental illness is going on here? I'm serious. Look it up, man. He shaved his beard and mustache twice in one game. That's mental illness. And this is the face of your franchise. And then you wonder why there were reports about them saying they wanted an adult in the room. This is a guy who refused to sit out despite of injury and was running around talking about how tough and gritty he is, and he's such a team player and he's the leader of this team. But the very second that we were eliminated from the beatable Pittsburgh Steelers, he sat out. We beat the Bengals in the last game of the season with a backup quarterback because everybody else that could play did play except for him. He quit on the team. That's what you're getting at quarterback. You say Cleveland did him dirty? No, man. Look, he was not drafted by Sashi Brown's protege, Andrew Berry. All right? He was drafted by John Dorsey, who's a moron. Sure, he has an eye for talent, but as a GM, he is a moron. He has no idea how to work the salary cap, and he has no idea about a player's mental state. OBJ should have never been on this team, and neither should have Baker Mayfield. When Sashi Brown's apprentice, Andrew Berry, became the GM the following year, the first thing he did was set things right. He hired Kevin Stefanski, who should have been hired over uh, Freddie Kitchens. And now he's getting rid of Baker Mayfield, who shouldn't have been drafted by the Browns. I don't remember who was on the Browns selection sheet, as far as draft picks. The good news is that Dorsey did stick with everybody else, but as far as the number one pick, he picked Baker, which was a mistake. 8-7-1 was not attributed to him. That was a team effort led by Greg Williams, who gave the team stability. He just ran the football and played solid defense, and the team luckily had enough talent and grit and determination to do that because they were tired of losing. Everybody just totally tries to forget the Freddie Kitchens year. Then you got 20, which was 2019, and then you got 2021 when Baker had to show and improve and impress in learning offense and actually played within the offense. And then the following year, because he got lazy and comfortable in trying to play for a contract, was a year that he tried to put it all on his shoulders, tried to play hero ball, and messed it all up and got people questioning Kevin Stefanski's play calling. But yet Kurt Warner was breaking it down how no, it wasn't coaching and it's not play calling. Like this is a player's issue, mainly Baker's. Go back to Kurt Warner's very first video about Baker Mayfield. He'll show you how Baker made a lot of bad reads. That's why he's out of Cleveland. His immaturity is why he's out of Cleveland. He becomes uncoachable. Sure, he's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. He'll lull you into a false sense of security, and the second that he feels comfortable, that's when it'll all go to shit. And the last time the Browns had a player like that, a star player, his name was Peyton Hillis. Peyton Hillis, you need to watch the story on him. We traded for him. He was a 6th-round pick. He was a fullback for the Denver Broncos. We traded the Broncos. We gave him a 6th-round pick for him. This one when Eric Mangini was our head coach his first year, and he turned Peyton Hillis into a star. We just ran the football with him and played solid defense, and that dude was Mike Allstott. He was running people over left and right. He was a star. We went 10-6 that year, just missed the playoffs. The following year, all of a sudden, he was a diva, holding out for a big contract. And I think the last straw was when he didn't play a football game because he had strep throat. And then after that, it was just over. It was really over. That was the final nail in the coffin. Yeah, that's Baker Mayfield. Only at quarterback, the most important position on the field. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. You're probably going to have a decent year with him this year, and if you resign him and you keep your head coach Matt Rule, if he stays one more year, and and you guys resign Baker Mayfield, trust me, you're going to live to regret it. You're going to live to regret it. But good luck with all that. Good luck with all that. Oh, and by the way, the Cynthia Furlong situation. When you're telling a story and it's flowing well, and then you stop at an important part, and then you try to figure out a way to say something and whatnot, you're pretty much kind of lying already. You're trying to cover tracks because she did admit, and this is the beauty of it, is that she did admit that she said to Baker Mayfield, yeah, you're going to F them up, especially in week 1, meaning the Browns. Yeah, you're going to F up the Browns. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to F them up. I believe he responded just saying, yeah, I'm going to get them, blase, blase. I believe that's what happened. what Cynthia doesn't seem to understand is that, okay, and a lot of people have said this, is that was the story she shouldn't have told, but she was clout chasing, trying to make a story. And the thing about it is that who she's one of those people where they say on the internet some people shouldn't be hurt. And I mean, seriously, she's one of those people, because do understand, when she started off, she was one of those, like a Colin Cowherd co-host. She was the co-host girl, and that did the moderation and all that stuff. And hey, need to go to break and whatnot. And one time, her and Colin were sitting there, and this is when LeVar Ball was out promoting his oldest son, because he was getting ready to go to the draft. And her and Colin were talking, and she insinuated that LeVar Ball was probably psychologically abusing his sons. So when LeVar Ball came back on the show, and he has a very effervescent personality. For those of y'all who remember those interviews, he was very outspoken and animated and whatnot, because it's a marketing thing. Although he overdid it. But he had to let her know, I'm not talking to you. Like, no, like, how you gonna talk bad about me? You know this is a media thing that I'm doing. I'm not. Well, my boys are not being abused. I'm not psychologically abusing my boys. Get the hell out of here. They just letting me talk. I told them don't say nothing, let me do the talking. I got it. So they just standing there like, they may not agree with what I'm saying, but it's not abuse. It's just that, hey, I'm the mouthpiece of the family. I'm the patriarch. I got this. Don't say nothing. Just yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, or whatever to their little questions that they throw the mic in your face. But let me do this. And I mean, it was a bad marketing scheme because of the cost of the shoe, and that his son didn't live up to the hype. But had his son came out and been like the next Michael Jordan or LeBron James, or even uh, any one of the starters, okay, for the Golden State Warriors, if he'd came out and been a superstar, then those little $400 shoes would have sold like hotcakes. But they were overpriced. They weren't really that stylish. So, of course, the brand didn't do well. But the simple fact that Cynthia Furlong tried to imply that LeVar Ball was psychologically abusing his children, that you're stepping out of bounds there. Now you're speaking out of turn. You're speaking out of turn. You're going above and beyond your station, because now you don't know what you're talking about, and you're trying to insinuate that I'm a bad father, or I'm a bad person in general. Like things like that, you can get sued for stuff like that. That whole thing with Molly Queer, like, girl, please stop. You know that ESPN woke garbage woke network. This is why y'all lost TV personalities left and right. You had to pay Stephen A. Smith because he's the only thing that you have going for your network, and he's nothing that any self-respecting black man would tune in and listen to. What the hell? We're not all just loudmouth screaming, belligerent idiots thinking we know everything like that. Hell, there's a reason why Skip and Shannon, or Shannon and Skip, are practically number one in the ratings as far as TV commentators, because Shannon will give it to you like it is, and Skip occasionally he'll agree with Shannon unless he has to play the role, okay, of the contrarian. That's why every time they talk Baker Mayfield, it's always almost led them to the playoff. Almost led them to the playoffs after they went 0-16, 11-game stretch, and a playoff win. That's the only three things they can lean on. They can only lean on those three things. You know, because Shannon's allowed to be honest. Shannon's allowed to be honest and tell it like it is, and he has no problem telling it like it is. So therefore their dynamic works. Skip is really just riding off of Shannon's coattails because, in all honesty, if take the, I know I'm getting off topic here, but take the NFL Network, their morning show. That is the lamest shit I've ever seen, and it kills me that they keep changing out their hosts every year. Okay, that because I was used to Kay Parker and the former wide receiver and the two goofy guys, and the one was a Browns fan. What was that? Nate Burles? Is that who that was? But I was used to those guys. But every year it's like they change them out because the year before that they had a different crew, and it's like, yo, you guys need to keep the crew. Don't change the crew out because what it is you're giving us, what we're seeing is that you're giving us these cookie cutter vanilla soft, non-offensive, vanilla wafer of hosts here that we don't relate to, and they're not friendly in the morning. They're they're really annoying because it's like, okay, I don't need you to rub my shoulders and massage my brain while I sip my coffee talking to me a bunch of BS about the NFL. Excuse me, I need to get my day going. So please lead at 6 a.m. with the first freaking story. What's the head story of the day? And lead with it with a serious tone. So that way, when it's everybody starts following in the offense, and once everybody gets settled around 10, 11 o'clock and whatnot, we can be like, hey, man, did you hear about the trade? Like, yeah, like, wow. We want to process information. So hit us with that. With all that goofy little, top five running backs, I get it. You need content to fill, but find yourself something to do. Find yourself something to do besides fluff. Unfortunately, you're a direct vehicle of the NFL. And the NFL always wants to portray itself as soft and kidney and whatnot. But we want to know what's going on with the Jerry Jones and the Daniel Snyder and the Robert Kraft sexual assault lawsuits and all of this stuff. We want to know what's going on with these guys. We want to know. Don't bury it. We want to know. How come there's no big story about the kicker, the punter from Buffalo that got cut and his gang rape allegations? We want to know what's going on. Since you wanted to be so all up Deshaun Watson's uh, posterior about his situation, well, can we find out about these situations too? I mean, I know it sounds like I'm being like biased or whatnot, but no, these are allegations I knew about before the Browns traded for Deshaun Watson. I already knew about these allegations. What's going on with the Brian Flores lawsuit? What's going on with that? Can we get some real news? But I know we're not going to get it because the NFL Network and ESPN and whatnot, all of these little subsidiaries of the NFL, I mean, they all have their marching orders. You all tell them what to talk about. Okay, so therefore, we're not really getting news. We're just getting what's known as yellow journalism. Well, you can't say that anymore because of PC. But you're getting biased journalism, and that sucks. But this is why people take to YouTube. All right, so I just wanted to let you guys know that what you're getting in Baker Mayfield is you're getting a guy he's talented as hell. He can make the throws. The problem is he can't make the right reads all the time. It's a 50-50 chance excuse me, on him making the right reads once he gets comfortable. He might try to impress you guys this year, but don't get too hyped. Don't get too hyped. Believe me, we as Browns fans, we know. Those of us who aren't just Baker Mayfield stands, trust me, we know. Don't get too hyped. Good luck to y'all. See you on week 1. Peace.